I know my destiny.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. And hope you're all having a great day. It's definitely been a day for reflection, and today we not only cover the topics of the day, but we also honor Princess Diana of Wales, passed away today 25 years ago. Can you believe it has been 2.5 decades? I mean, I remember very little actually about that period of my life. I have like flashbacks of my primary school years, but that particular day when I found out that Diana had passed away, and also the evening that my mum took us to go lay flowers, that is absolutely fresh in my mind. And it is just one of those moments where you remember where you were and what you were doing, what you were wearing even. So we lost a great one, but unfortunately that's an unfortunate part of how the world works when you don't have the right people in positions of power. They get rid of people who genuinely want to do good. And what's even more unfortunate is on the 25th anniversary of Diana's death, we are seeing the repeat of behavior by the psychopathic, disgusting, quite frankly, needs to be destroyed. I'm going to say it, tabloid British press. I'm actually going to do a whole separate talk and video on this, I think, because this last week, especially, I've just felt a way that I haven't felt in a while. This whole situation with the press and Meghan and the way they treat Meghan, and now reflecting on the way they treated Diana and seeing it happen all over again, has really opened my eyes to a side of my country that I quite frankly just detest. I'm sickened by, and I'm angered that as a country, we just don't have the backbone to grab the tabloid press by the neck and tell them to sit the hell down and stop this nonsense. The amount of power that the tabloid press has in this country is embarrassing for a country that is meant to hail itself as a democracy. And it would seem like lessons really have not been learnt. But the good thing is now we have our own platforms and we can push back. But, I think it's going to take so much more than just us pushing back. And if you're if you just happen to be listening to this and you're not a Harry and Meghan fan, or you know someone who's not a Harry and Meghan fan, please know that at this point, what's going on with the press has gone above and beyond just what this means for Harry and Meghan. This is about our press as a whole and our country as a whole now, and how the tabloid press behaves and the grip that they have over our country, and the relationship between the press, the royals, government. I mean, I could just anyway. Today I want it to be um, a relatively joyful day. I don't want to, at least on the part of reflecting on Diana's life and the great things that she did. I don't want to go into that too much, but I think in another video, I really want to talk about this in detail. Boy, but with that short intro, TED Talk done. Welcome everyone to the chat. Um, thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And yeah, August is gone, on to September now, and there's a lot to look forward to in the coming few weeks. So heads up high, and we know that it's going to be week after week after week with archetypes, the press piling down, but as always, we'll get through it, and let's not let it dampen the good parts too much. And sorry for running a little bit later today. I had gotten everything ready, but as we know, nobody brings receipts like the squad. And in the last couple of hours, some new receipts have been pulled from the archives. So that's why we're a little bit late today, and I'll get into that in a moment. Jan Martin, I know that Princess Meghan may shy away from the term diva or princess, but that is who she embodies: grace, elegance, and dignity. And I know that Princess Diana would be proud of her daughter-in-law. Yes, I will absolutely be embracing the word diva now. And so should Meghan. Diva is not a dirty word. Be a diva and know that you deserve the absolute best. Be a diva and take up space. Benety, I'm glad the Daily Mail lied is trending. They are trying to paint Em in a bad light, saying that she was lying, and when it's so easy to prove that she was not, exactly. And those are the receipts that made us run late today, because I was looking through Twitter. Squaddies were posting them receipts. So it's just annoying that while our platforms are building, it's still not on the level of, the tabloid press. They're just so big and so powerful. But I do believe that something will give eventually, and the tide will begin to turn eventually. I feel like we're slowly getting to that point now where we're really going to have a big tide turn. Yes, chosen to be here. Thank you to our moderators who are doing the Lord's work, because we know the trolls are going to be lurking. Um, Let me just catch up with your comments before we move on. Does everybody like the new theme song? Fun fact, I like dubstep. So I went for a dubstep tune this time, and um I love the words "I know my destiny." I thought that it fit Megan very well. Um, Dara, I just cancelled my subscription to a show I used to enjoy. Thought it was fair, but not fair to Megan. One person in the Brit is nasty, and she's reading Tom Bowles' but oh gosh, and she believes every word. I mean, Tom Bowers is last week's news now. I don't know who wanted to read that book in the first place, but who would still be reading it now? Embarrassing. I'm not embarrassed. This is very embarrassing. He's been proven as a liar, so no worries about Tom Byers. Jean, I understand fully what you're saying. I don't recognize the country. I grew up in the media, so hateful. Yeah, it is. But do you know what I'm also realizing is that it's actually always been like this. It's always been like this. I had just internalized it as something that was normal. And this is one of the reasons why, especially for those of you who are non-British squaddies, you shouldn't be too surprised. While it's annoying, you shouldn't be too surprised that people don't push back, because this is normalized. It's literally like being in the Matrix. Guys and dolls, let me tell you something. Right now, we have a list a mile long of issues in this country. Shit in the water, polio in the water, inflation, gas prices, a government that's acting like a kleptocracy, all of the things. And yet, when I talk to people and say, you know what, I'm actually thinking of moving away, they look at me like I'm crazy. Now, I'm not saying that I want to move away because I think that anywhere else is absolutely perfect and shining. Of course not. But there are so many problems here that it would improve my quality of life so much to move somewhere else. But it's almost as if when I talk to people about a lot of the issues that are going on, they're just like, "Oh, well, it's bad." Um, but it's like they don't have they're not it's not sinking in that it's only gonna get worse. It's only get worse. And it's just very, very frustrating, people not seeing how deep the issues are and how, deep and dark the rabbit hole is. Oh, but I just yes, rest in peace, Diana. She's truly missed. Um, Valerie, thank you for saying that. I'm praying over that that the lie is demonic. People are waking up. They are literally destroying our country with the lies and wickedness. Yes. But at the end of the day, it only continues because people allow it. That's what continues. Thank you so much for the super sticker, Cinderella. Much appreciated, darling. Tony, I watched a funeral a week later in Paris while starting a wet placement. I cried buckets. I also visited the area of the crash. So sad. Yeah. Wow, that must have been pretty wild actually being in Paris. Sylvia, I have never seen people sitting on TV actually bullying with each about some woman. They're trying to spread hate around the world. Same hateful suspects, same talking points. Yes, over and over. And you'd think at this point, I mean, are people not bored? The haters not bored yet? Elaine, thank you so much for the super sticker, darling. Kerry, Tom Bower's own supporters don't like the book. Exactly. They were giving it 1 stars. Thank you so much, Alan. Vernon Superstar also. Joyce, what they wanted her to do is be quiet and take the abuse, lies and misinformation, and don't speak. That's not going to happen. The true colours of the UK have through. It took an American biracial, yes. There is royal family before and after Meghan. Dina Nassau, thank you so much for the super chat. Hi, Anne, Meghan, and Harry will be fine. They're covered by the highest power. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for showing up and being supportive. This is all we can do. Create safe spaces for us to converse and platforms and our own media where we can push back against the lies. The Lord will do the rest, as will Harry and Meghan's law team, I'm sure. So Janet Afia is working overtime. Sylvia, it's hard to believe that people believe gossipers instead of Meghan's friends that know her. This tells that country, like gladiator sports, it is evil. Yes. But I think there's really something about just seeing when some people, when they see a woman of color, especially if she is black or biracial, there's just something that irks them. And I actually might still have that slide from a while back. Hang on a minute. Let me see. Have I yes, I do still have it. It's this. So there's this blogger. She is a black woman who lives in the UK, and she lives a wonderful, lush country life. And there was I guess we could call her an Angela Levin type, Liv Siddle, who posted this with the picture of the black woman in her beautiful country home saying, deleted Instagram today for the first time ever, 8 years. Don't know when I'll be back, but let it be known, this is the image that did it. A black woman having a nice picnic in her lush house. This is the image that made Liv Siddle delete her Instagram. She was so angry at this black woman living her best life. She deleted Instagram. And this is exactly the attitude towards Meghan. This joy, this soft life, this luxe life, a life with a prince. This isn't for us. And it literally makes them sick to see. It makes the racist sick to see a woman of color living well. I'm glad I kept this slide. But the woman in question, Paula Sutton, who lives a beautiful country life, she is a huge success. She actually went viral because of this racist Karen right here. But this is what it's about. It's the jealousy. Anywho, okay, I'll slide for your comments and then we'll get on to the main part of the podcast today. Give me a sec. Michelle, just like when they say they don't see why Harry and Meghan left because they had everything, they can't see what's wrong with the attacks and the bullying. Yeah, because it's normalized to them. Really just disgusting. Tease a diva, thank you so much for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Anne Lewis, I believe the news and attempt on baby Archie in South Africa and cover up has turned public opinions about the royal family in the UK. Well, I think it's a slow process. And I think there will be that moment where it will spill over into something explosive. But that moment is yet to come. Reba, Meghan's friends are ignored because they do not fit their narrative. Exactly. And there is literally no one in Meghan's pre-royal life that has anything bad to say about her. Even Oma Rosa stood up for her, and if Oma Rosa had anything nasty to say about Meghan, she would have said it. Joyce, Meghan gave that lengthy interview, and the podcast are doing so well. It's driving them ballistic. Yes, it is. And as usual, they're throwing everything at the wall. Megan P, that's exactly what this is to me, a safe space for us to converse, especially when the media is so full of hate. Yeah, we need our own space. I saw someone write on Twitter earlier today, their litmus test now as to whether or not they like someone is whether or not they like Megan. And the type of things they say, just regurgitate media talking points, and then you know that person just listens to the British media. All right, let's get through some of the stories before we get on to the Diana segment of the show. So, in some positive news, Harry consoled a former member of the Royal Marines after the veteran had to drop out of a triathlon challenge across the UK. You can watch the full video I think you can actually watch it on Instagram. I haven't sat down to watch it yet, but I think the veteran in question actually posted it on Instagram. So once I get the link, I will post that on the community tab. But we see Harry just carrying on the work. And Mimi, Mimi has begun defrosting for Christmas. So All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is Mariah's most famous song, had over 100K streams on Spotify, despite it being August. And for sure, that was probably bumped up by her appearance on Archetypes. So we're not well, I guess we're approaching Christmas, but come on, like I would think maybe in November you'd see a lot of streams, but oh no, people can't wait for them some Mimi. And the podcast episode, from what I've seen, outside of the circle of hate, has been received very, very well. People are really liking it. People are loving that Megan acknowledged her privilege as a biracial woman and how that made her reflect on how Black women were treated. Um, what else did I want to mention before we? Okay, right. So yes, today is the 25th anniversary of Diana's passing, of the accident in Paris, and let us not forget exactly how it is that the British press treated her. They were just all too happy to print headlines like this. Diana's mother calling her a whore, talking about her personal liaisons and affairs. I personally don't know anyone who has ever said to me that they had an issue with the fact that Diana had an affair. I think most people I've spoken to are like, "Oh, good for her. Good for her for getting her some." Because we know Charles was getting plenty. But all around, just a very tragic story of a girl that deserved so much more and was thrown to the wolves. And there were some people out at Kensington Palace today. The press and media was out. People were leaving flowers and photographs of Diana. So there were people out paying their respects. But these were the scenes when we had the funeral. And this probably isn't the most famous picture of the flowers. The main one that I think most of you have seen is, I mean, it goes back like forever. But this was really a moment that shook the country. There is a famous documentary called, I think it's The 7 Days That Shook Britain. and it really goes into detail about the accident and leading up to Diana's funeral and a lot of details surrounding the family and also the funeral arrangements. And one of the interesting things that was said in the documentary was that the news was announced, I think it was around 4 a.m. in the morning. It was like very, very early in the morning. And because everybody was getting up and making cups of tea, there was a surge on the electrical grid. Like that is the most British thing ever, right? Everybody's getting up to make tea and there's a surge. Because what do British people do when we're nervous? We boil some tea. Um and let's not forget all of the incredible things that Diana did in her lifetime, removing the stigma surrounding HIV and AIDS, touching people with HIV and AIDS, showing that this was not a disease that could be passed on through skin to skin contact. I remember some of the first well, I wasn't alive then, but I remember seeing some of the first um advertisements that came out warning people about HIV and AIDS. And I think the one I saw was an Australian ad, and it was literally the Grim Reaper coming to kill you, coming to get like HIV and AIDS was presented as the Grim Reaper. And yes, at the time, it was pretty much a death sentence because there wasn't any treatments, there wasn't any cures, and we're pretty close to getting a vaccine now. But I think depicting it in such a dramatic way, um, I think did lead to a level of stigma where people were just being ostracized. And so for someone like Diana to come and shake the hands of HIV and AIDS orphans in Africa, but also um, just, Americans, British people who had the disease as well, that was such a game changer. And it's something, I think it's a level of bravery and boldness that we've never seen from any other royal and really from any other celebrity, I think. And Diana just had a way of connecting with people. Her presence really did make people feel like their day was golden. And it's so funny when you see the other royals, that is what they want. They want for their presence to be alone. To be enough. Sorry, I meant to say. They want for their presence to be enough. They want for their presence to be the reward that you get as a subject, right? But to get that level of connection with people, you need to be authentic. And Diana had that authenticity. So people really did feel like it was raining unicorns when she was around. But all you have to do is be warm. All you have to do is let people know that they're loved and that you genuinely care. And that is honestly, we're all human. We're all human. We all want to feel that. And so that is why the other royals cannot connect with the everyday person because they don't have that level of authenticity that Diana had. But they expect everyone to just fawn over them and for them to get the huge crowds that Diana got. And that's just never going to happen. Diana was once in a lifetime, one in a million, and they lost it. And they've also lost Meghan. But their loss, I think, is Meghan's gain. Just some other pictures. I found these ones floating around. Diana at Northwestern, and of course, that's where Meghan went. So I really do feel like it was destiny, absolute destiny for Harry to meet Meghan. There's just so many connections here that it just had to be written in the stars. And yeah, just lovely pictures of Harry and his mum. And I do think that, people do get a sense that Harry is really his mother's son, way more than William, and that he's really taken on his mother's heart and is trying his best to continue her work. So yeah, that's pretty much all as far as Diana. Just wanted to pay my respects and reflect on her life. It's sad that we're back in the same, almost in the same place 25 years later, but I do feel that this time it's going to be the press that come out on the losing side. I really do. I really have faith in that. All right, I'll just get through your comments before we go to the next part. Benjamin, feelings of superiority is actually a complex of feeling inferior or lacking. Their own conscious sears them, convicts them. They know it's wrong, however, it's a sickness. Yes, that is very true. A lot of projection going on. Diane, throwing everything at the wall, racist media sources are also isolating themselves because the rest of the world now understands what is really happening. I do think the rest of the world is seeing what's happening more than people in Britain are seeing what's happening. And it's really just starting to make us look crazy. Thank you, Vanessa Shepherd, for the super sticker. Much appreciated, darling. Kim Coates, Megan has 10 more weeks to drive the Rangers to drink. I'm all here for it. Yes, I'm here for it too. Elaine, I have all my Christmas presents bought. Are you okay? Are you one of those people that has a box full of presents just ready to be wrapped? I feel like that's just the secret to life, really. Okay, I'm a bit worried about Harry and Meghan going to the UK. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable either, Kay, but what can we do? They've chosen to go. As far as they're probably concerned, they've assessed the situation and they feel okay to go. So we just have to trust Harry and Meghan's judgment. And um it's only for 2 days, and I'm sure they'll be fine. I don't actually even think that they're gonna stay at Frogmore. I get the feeling that they may not. There was this article that came out in the Daily Mail today. Um, they've obviously let a photographer get quite close enough to take a clear picture like this. And from the way that Megan spoke in her cut article, it sounds like they pretty much just got all of the stuff. And I don't know. To me, it doesn't sound like they'll be going back. I'd be very surprised, especially with Cambridge's now at Adelaide Cottage. And look at how close it is to Frogmore and Windsor Castle. I didn't even know that. So, I mean, did they literally just move there to try and spy on Harry and Meghan? Because we know how obsessed they are and how much they cosplay. So what, they want to get their long lens binoculars? Creepy. Juanita Smith, Diana's death shook the world. Yes, it shook the world and stopped the world. Sylvia Duchess, thank you for showing us those newspapers. Now that Princess Diana is gone, the tabloids media want to act like they did nothing to hurt her. Exactly. But they're just proving once again, 25 years later, how much they contributed to the toxic culture that was around at the time and is still here. And let's not forget, part of Harry's lawsuit, I think, with Piss Moron is something to do with is it something to do with correspondence or letters that belong to Diana? Um, or something like that. But even when Diana was alive, Piss Moron was obsessed with her as well. And I can't imagine how irritating it must be for Harry to have this disgusting man that's gone after your mum and your wife. Joan, you were asleep and your sister woke you. Thank you so much to Joan Commonwealth's Joan Commonwealth's sister. Let's show where the interview with Halo Toss is really good. Evening Stars, the leader podcast is on Apple Podcast. Oh, is this the interview with the Halo Trust? Did he do an interview with the Halo Trust? When was that? Valerie, the UK press are pretending to care about Diana today. How many years did they call her every name in the book? Exactly. There was actually this segment. Where was it? Yeah, there was this segment today. Could Meghan be the people's princess? And like my royal account said, the royal family has never learned from its mistakes. The British media has never admitted to its mistakes. Both of those things. Prudence, what a mourning throughout the world. When we heard Princess Diana died, I cried like she were my child. May our beautiful princess rest in everlasting peace. Amen to that. Diana was the only one to connect with black people. Yes, that is also true. And you could tell that she was just comfortable around all people. But I think there's something to be said about, when you grow up in a very privileged place, but you feel like an outsider, um, you are probably better able to connect with others who are also underdogs. And yeah, people just felt the warmth and she gave it. That's all people want: warmth, love, and to know that you genuinely care. You're not just showing up to give people a smile here and there.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it does more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So
Mhm. Oh, and let's not also not forget about Diana's style. Almost forgot to mention that. True style icon. I saw something the other day that was quite interesting, and I hadn't actually thought about this. Somebody posted that a lot of Kate's Diana copycats are from during Diana's main princess years. None of the looks are from when after Diana divorced Charles, which I thought was quite interesting. That she only cosplays Diana's looks during the marriage and during the time she was a working royal, and not when Diana got her freedom. There was someone who gave a super chat. I'm sorry if I am always very, very sorry if I do miss your donation. Don't think I did it on purpose. It's just going through the chat sometimes. I do miss these things. Oh, it's Hen Pal. Thank you so much, Hen Pal, for the super chat. Thank you, Anne, for speaking up for the Sussexes. As always, darling, we love Princess Diana and we know how she desperately wanted Harry to have a secure future, and he has that now. He has that. He has his secure future. Meghan by his side, and he got the freedom I think Diana always wanted. And I saw this um, earlier. Somebody posted, Tia de Gallier said, I really don't give an F about the royal family, but the hate directed at Meghan Markle doesn't even attempt to hide its misogyny, painting her as some wicked schemer who tore Harry away from his family is from the same Sexist 101 manual that blames temptress women for men's affairs. It's absolutely possible that Harry knew the whole institution was toxic and wanted to get away from it, and Meghan gave him the push he needed. You can blame him. It looked shit. The very definition of a gilded cage. And not only do I believe that Meghan gave him the push, Meghan also gave him she gave him the network. You know, she gave him, I think, a blueprint of how to leverage your influence and being in the public eye in ways that you can, yes, be humanitarian and do great things, but also earn a living, which is something that Harry's never really had to do. Yes, he went to the army, but he mostly went to the army to just he said it himself, to escape England. I'm sure he enjoyed, you know, serving his country as well, but I do wonder if things had been better back home if Harry had gone to the army. But beyond that, he really never had the chance to experience what it means to earn a living away from the institution that he grew up in. And so he was essentially handicapped. And so I think Harry knew that he had to find a woman who knew how to build and support her and build with her. Because while Harry is a prince, that doesn't necessarily mean that every door was going to fly open to him. Definitely didn't mean that he would have the connections and network that he has now because he's married to Meghan. I don't know if, or I definitely don't see that Tyler Perry would have opened his home to Prince Harry trying to escape the royal family by himself if Meghan had never been in the picture, or if he had married some British aristo. And a lot of these aristo girls are just raised like Kate. They're just raised to marry and find a rich guy. They're not raised to hold their own and make their own. So I have no doubt in my mind that Harry specifically sought a woman like Meghan, a woman who had vision, who had a life, who had credentials. Now, it's the cut article. The British press have, of course, been spinning their nonsense. So one of the things that came out was Nelson Mandela's grandson who was flapping his gum and trying to insinuate that Meghan was comparing herself to Mandela, which is not the case. They've completely and utterly twisted her words. And he gave an exclusive to the Daily Fail. Now, I don't know too much, to be honest, about the extended Mandela family, but I have seen some commentary around the Twitter streets saying that some of them are a bit troublesome. And I'm just, I'm sure they offered him, the Daily Fail offered him quite a lot of money to bash Meghan, because we know they do that. They give people money to lie. But it is very, very disappointing to see someone from the Mandela family attempt to throw Meghan under the bus like that and to completely and utterly twist her words. And I can't see Piss Moron's feed because he has blocked me. But apparently he was mouthing off about this whole Mandela thing. And guess what the squad found? They found a receipt of him earlier on this year. Wait, what does the date on this say? Let me just take off the banner for a sec. This is Monday, the 18th of April, 2022. This is Piss Moron comparing himself to Nelson Mandela. but he's mouthing off about something that Meghan said that was twisted. And like I said on Twitter, you know what? All Meghan has to say is that there is shit in your water. You all need to focus on that, and it's a wrap. But of course, they know that Meghan is gracious and would would never say that. I will be trash on behalf of her. But it's just so disgusting to see this whole press institution coming down on this one woman and trying to make her out to be this villain and trying to get other people to see her as a villain and possibly other people or someone, some crazed person, because it's happened before, to try and harm her. I really do believe that that is the end game. But I think in the end, it's the tabloid press that are gonna bury themselves. Meghan is gonna live a long, happy, joyful, successful life. I claim it. Oh, Sherry, the podcast with Halo Trust came out today. Oh, okay. I haven't had a moment to listen to it. Thank you for letting me know. I'll go and check that out. Dorothy Ross, I cannot explain why I dislike Weary Willie. There was just something about him that gives me the creeps. Could it be this? Okay, wait, do I still have the picture? Oh no, I think I deleted it. Oh yeah, no, here it is. There. Is that what gives you the creeps, Dorothy? Is that what gives you the creeps? Let me just go through your comments before I move on to the next part. Cinderella, if Diana was alive today, I bet she'd be living closer to Harry and Meghan. I think so. I think she would have absolutely adored Meghan. And maybe, just maybe, she would have taught Kate to have a backbone. I'm not even sure actually Kate would have been allowed to marry William. I think Diana probably would have had it out with Karen Middleton. Andreen, I think William is in therapy. Well, maybe that might explain why the British press have stopped reporting about him being incandescent all the time. I haven't heard any headlines about him being incandescent for a while. So maybe you're right. Anyway, so because of that whole debacle with Mandela's grandson, great grandson, whatever he is, people started pulling for the receipts, and so Meghan had said that there was a South African at the Lion King premiere that had made the comment about South Africans dancing in the streets, like when Mandela was freed. Now there was another coon who came out and said that he was the only South African in the Lion King, and that he's never met Meghan. In an interview with the Daily Mail. And as people have now found, actually, so this was a Twitter post that said, "I love John Canny's work, yet according to him, the composer of The Lion King, Lebo M, and the singer of Circle of Life, Lidiwe Mkhize, were not in Lion King, nor are they South African, since he was the only South African in Lion King." So there were two other South Africans in Lion King and at the premiere. So it's very likely that that conversation that Meghan had was with Lebo M. And there is the video of Lebo next to Pharrell and Meghan and Harry talking to him. So it's very likely that that's when Meghan told that story in the Cut interview, that's who she was referring to. And that same gentleman, Lebo M, back in 2020, actually praised Harry's decision to quit the royal family for Meghan. So you see how easy it is to pull up receipts and debunk the lies. But the problem with the British media is they know that they can just print lies, people will believe it, and it's very difficult once the lie has spread to correct it with the truth. And they know this, and they don't care, especially when it comes to Meghan. Well, also, I found on this is Jessica from Duchess of Sussex on Instagram. She pulled up the receipts about Meghan's comments about getting her hair done as a kid. And there's actually a picture of Meghan with the braids and beads in her hair that her grandmother had done for her, and that's her with her grandmother doing her hair. And there's also an article from 2015. So this is just before Harry and Meghan started dating, where she talks about her identity and finding her voice as a mixed race woman. And this was originally written in July 2015 and published in Elle. Receipts everywhere. They've tried so many times to catch out Meghan, but they just can't. She had too much of a life before the royal family, and she's got no reason to lie about anything now. All right, G. Benjamin, I heard the same thing about Mandela family. I really wish the cast member from Lion King would issue a simple statement. However, he might feel it's risking his career, but on principle, it would be nice. Yes, I think it would be nice for him to say something. But then it's like I hate that anyone who, just very innocently comes into contact with Harry and Meghan would have to feel like they have to push back against the British press and possibly be exposed to also being harassed. Because really, they wouldn't have to do that if the British media wouldn't attack every single thing that Meghan says. Outsider's perspective, honestly, I can understand to an extent why people epitomize Mandela, but the drama of his family a mess. Honestly, a mess. Sharon, I could have married an aristocrat, but they don't have no self-esteem and drive. Only want to get dressed and go to fancy parties and no substance, no ambition. He wanted someone to be his equal. Yeah. I mean, if you grow up so wrapped up in cotton wool with everything handed to you, I mean, got to be careful with my words here, but listen, I've met some of these people and I'm gonna just keep it real. They're just some of the most bland and boring people you've ever met. And you're right, a lot of them don't have a lot of self-esteem and self-drive because why would you when you've always had everything handed to you? And a lot of the times they struggle to really come into their own and be fully formed, outwardly thinking people because of the way that they've grown up, if I'm being honest. Not all of them, I'm sure, but a fair amount, and definitely the ones I've met. Sylvia, Duchess of Success, yes, Meghan has given Harry so much. Meghan is very inspiring and deserves respect. She does indeed. Oh, guys, we've got another 10 or 11 weeks of this. I do think eventually, I mean, I will always speak on what the British press does when it's necessary, but I do feel eventually we do have to pull back. But I also think that we'll get to a point where we won't have to do so much of the heavy lifting because the average person is gonna start to see it. Because this is what the third interview only that maybe third or fourth interview that Meghan has given since she left the firm. So there's the Cuts interview, the Ellen interview where she really didn't talk about the royals, the interview with the New York Times where again she really didn't talk about the royals, um, and obviously the Oprah interview. So what? That's four. And then she's done a whole bunch of other stuff, but she hasn't talked about the royals in those other things. Like when she did the feature with the 19th and the Times. So in terms of actually talking about the royals, she's only talked about them in 2 interviews, and yet they freak out and twist her words and bully and harass her every single time she opens her mouth. And I'm just so annoyed by this narrative of, oh, Meghan's destroying the royals, Meghan's destroying the royals. As if they haven't done enough to destroy themselves. I mean, what do you call this? Charles with Savile and Andrew with Epstein. But somehow Harry and Meghan are the biggest problems. Sharby, I remember seeing how the press hounded Diana when she lived in Earl's Court up the road from where I lived on Lily Road before her marriage. I heard of her death a month after I moved to the US. Wow. Wow, that must have been wild actually getting to see the press hound her. Hope's Garden, remember what Harry said himself. I've seen behind the curtain and want no part of it. Royal Royalty want to blame it on Meghan. Like Harry can't think for himself. You know, the way the firm operates, a recipe for self-destruction. And I think what we're seeing is just a very, very, very slow train crash. And they are driving themselves off the tracks. And they had yet another opportunity with Meghan to keep themselves on the track, and they've lost it. But like I said in my last podcast, I think it's great. Because really, would we have wanted this institution to continue even if it was modernized and, you know, brought into the modern era? Does this institution deserve that? Did this institution deserve Meghan? They didn't. Sylvia Dixon, the woman that called into Jeremy Vine's show last week, said Harry was not going to marry any of them in the UK anyway. Exactly. They all need to get over it, especially this witch right here, Angela Latrine. Yeah, she's been all over the place the last few days. I don't know why anybody is still taking her advice. And what drives me even more crazy is I haven't actually heard anybody bring up the fact that Angela Latrine is writing Camilla's biography. And yet she's sitting here yapping her gum about Harry and Meghan. That is a huge conflict of interest. I don't understand why no one on these TV shows isn't bringing that up. Cinderella, want to see what aristocrats are like? Watch an episode of Southern Charm. Okay, I've never heard of that show. We'll check it out. Thank you. Emma Andrews and Meghan worked since she was 13. She was a millionaire before meeting Harry. Yeah, of course. I saw pictures from an investment event that Meghan went to. I think that Jared Leto was there. I think what's his name? Richard Branson was there. I was gonna put it in one of my Meghan pre-royal videos that I need to do. But I'm sure, you know, Meghan's a smart woman. I'm sure she had investments as well as, you know, the money that she was getting from Suits, the money that she was getting being an influencer, the money that she was getting from the TIG. So I'm sure that she was very smart with her money. And you can see it in the way that she works now, doing so many multiple projects, multiple streams of income. That's what you need. Compton, Kelly Girl, Sussex Channels. I know you working hard because you find all the receipts. Well, I have to give credit to the peeps on Twitter, to be honest. They're the ones that really do the receipt digging. So credit to them. Dorothy, if the work that We're Willie has done in the past, it makes you doubt what kind of king he will be. Yeah, I mean, he was a pilot for some short time, but him and Kate only became working royals around the time that Meghan joined the family. They were very lazy, especially in comparison to what Meghan did in 2 years. All right, guys and dolls, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you everyone for your super chats and super stickers. Thank you moderators as usual. I will just get through your comments and we'll call it a day. I've got a Muller corner yogurt with strawberry and them little shortcake balls that is just staring at me and I want to eat it. So let's wrap things up. Now, Benjamin, your point on an alternative universe is how Harry and Meghan's story is being played out in the UK versus everywhere else resonated with me. I have thought on it much more positive here in the US. Yes, of course. Of course it would be because Meghan's an American and they keep trying to court, the MAGA crowd, but as far as I can see, it's not working. Like if there was a strong pushback from the MAGA crowd towards Meghan Markle, at this point, you would have seen it. They've tried it with Meghan McCain. Well, she's now writing for the Daily Fail. They tried it on Fox News for a little bit, but it didn't really take off. I even remember there was this one event where one of our British MPs, actually Conservative MPs, went to this event that was sponsored. I think was it by the Rockefellers or Koch brothers, one of the two, and it was talking about how Meghan was threatening British like Britishness and the royal family. Anyway, it was an event that literally nobody wrote about and nobody watched and nobody cared about. So they have tried. They have really tried, and it's not working. But why would it? Because at the end of the day, you might have some mega types who dislike Meghan because they're racist, but they're still Americans. They celebrate the 4th of July. So what would they be caring about what happens to the rest of the British monarchy? I think that William and Kate coming to America is going to be very, very revealing because I don't think they're going to get the reception they think they will get. I don't think they will be wholly welcomed. And I think we're going to get a good idea then of just how much support, if any, they have in the US, even from the MAGA right wing crowd. And I don't believe it's a lot, even from that side. I really don't. Oh, FYI, Omid also put out an article today about Diana for his Yahoo column. So go and read that. It's pretty good. I was gonna read it out today, but we're going over an hour now, so I'll just post it in the community tab for you to read. Marina, imagine having Angela Latrine as your mother. Well, imagine having her as your daughter, because apparently her mother hated her. She wrote a whole article about it. And now she's spending her life stalking a man that does not care about her. She got a 20-minute interview with Harry, and now she thinks that she can speak on his entire life. Oh, it's Facts and 2 Cents live. Okay, do you know what? Then I will definitely wrap things up. I will definitely. Yeah, they are live. Okay. So, thank you so much, everyone. Who's gonna give us the last word of the day? Oh, thank you so much, Tony. It was a pleasure to have you. And everyone, who's gonna give us the last word of the day? Lucy Wynn, Mega in Americans doesn't care about the royal family. I don't get the feeling that they do at all. I really don't. Valerie, Americans are staunch Republicans. They do not like the monarchy for themselves. They watch it for the entertainment. Soap opera drama, yes. There's people over there who drink tea with their pinky fingers out. All right, Jan, I'm going to give you the last word of the day. Yes, everyone, be safe. I appreciate your love as always. Hugs and blessings to all of you. I will see you tomorrow, folks. And, let's just look forward to the positive stuff. And there is lots coming.
I know my destiny.